New year, same me. Welcome to my January reset. The hair thing has an explanation, I'll get to it in a moment, but first I want to tell you about the video. I want to go through all of my works and progresses to see where I am with them, how many I have, what do I need to finish, and just to get like a baseline overview again, because I feel like I've lost it over the last year, me being burnt out in the spring, moving in the summer, changing jobs in the autumn, and now with my YouTube channel being just since May, everything is a bit chaotic with my whips. So I wanted to get a grasp on it. And I was thinking about different things to film today because I want to film. I am just getting over a cold. I am excited to start filming again after a very hectic and very fun Vlogmas where I uploaded 23 videos back to back to back to back until the day before Christmas Eve. So, and then I just didn't film anything, or I didn't film any talking videos. Until now. So I'm excited to do that again. And I did some reverse time managing because I need my hair clean for tomorrow when I go to work. I need it to be dry before I go to bed. It's going to take ages. I also want to film a video of everything I made in 2025. And for that, I want my hair to look dry-ish so it doesn't look dirty, because I want to show off all of my gorgeous pieces without looking grody, because it's going to look strange if I have wet hair when people are going to ask themselves if it's dirty hair. Tangent. So the idea for this video is going through my whips while my hair dries. So you're going to have to see this updo for a little while. Oh, my eye is twitching. Is this too tight? Is that what's making my eye twitch? Let's see if it happens again. Then I'll go put on some makeup and I'll do the second video. I went through all of my boxes and cupboards and stuff for whips. I have 2 whips that I'm working on actively, and I think I'm going to start with the oldest one. Yeah, oh, it did start again. The oldest one is one that I have already sort of given up on. Well, not really given up on, but I've cannibalized it, and therefore it looks terrible and will need to be rethought. So I cast on, before I even started my YouTube channel, I wanted a collared t-shirt. And to do that, I picked out my sock scraps in greens and blues, and I had knit from the collar down. It had a split down until like the solar plexus. I don't know what that is called in English, but this is all that is left, because the dark green is a yarn that I wanted to repurpose for a pair of socks. So I cannibalized first one sleeve and then the second sleeve for the green, and then I realized that it's not going to be enough, and then I cannibalized and I did like the rib portion at the bottom, and then that still wasn't enough, so I had to go and pick up the stitches and unravel the top portion. So this was never going to be a great project. I cast it on because I wanted to use up my scraps. I did it free-handed, so it's not even following a pattern. It's a bit too snug for what I want it to be. So I'm going to unravel all of this, make a ball of it, and so all of the yarn is in one ball, and then I'll do something else with this. I think a scrap project would be fun for it. I don't know that I want to make this many socks. Yes, I want to make this many socks, but since these colours go so well together, I think I'll use them for a big scrap project like this. So probably another t-shirt, but just in a bigger size and without the collar. I think it's going to be best for this yarn. I used a 3.5mm needle for this, and I will probably be using the same size when I go back to do this. So first thing to unravel goes right there. That will also give me back my double pointed 3.5s, which is nice. The next oldest thing is a pair of socks, or just a sock that I cast on to have something to do with my hands. I love knitting socks. It is a really simple, mindless thing for me because I've knitted so many of them. I've knitted socks for 20 years, and this half length is something that I haven't done before. I've knitted like the what is the sporty version, so quite a short cuff, and I've knitted the calf length, so like this long. But this middle length I thought would be good for my Chelsea boots in the transitional weather, where I might show some leg above my Chelsea boot, but I wouldn't want my my knitted sock to peek out. So that was the idea with it. The yarn is Drops Fabel, probably, and I will definitely keep knitting on these now that I actually have them in mind. These are a great train knit, so keeping this project. Next in timeline, where am I now? Next in the timeline is actually a really big project that I started in March or something, to make me a pair of sweatpants. And these are from Novita Designs. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I knitted it in Drops Cotton Merino, and I did the majority of the work. I'm up just above the crotch, but I ran into two problems. One, I lost yarn chicken twice, so I had to reorder yarn. And two, I wanted to knit pockets into it. So I figured out how I wanted to knit it, how to make like the slanted pockets, and I'm going to do them in a contrasting colour. I had the yarn for it, but then I ran into the third issue, and that is that they are too tight in the very bottom. So my gauge swatch behaved differently than the end result did. So what I am going to do is knit, because I want these finished. I think they will look amazing. What I'll do is I'll knit the pocket portion, so above the bum, the stomach, the pockets, the waistband. I'll finish that with the yarn that I have, and then, because I don't want to buy any more yarn if I don't have to, I'm going to unravel the very bottom portion of the leg until the point where it fits well, and then I'll pick up the stitches from there and knit back down. And once I run out of this original green colour, the other colour that I have, which isn't here, is a lighter green, so it's just going to have a contrasting cuff that's the same colour as the pockets. So that is the plan. I hope that I remembered to write down the needle size for this. To be continued. The next project that I have is not one where I have to worry about needle size because the needles are still attached. This is the Rainbow Pastel Baby Blanket, something like that. It is also made of sock scraps. Hang on, this is the front. And this is for a friend and her fiance who are starting IVF. They went to start IVF they got approved for IVF, because in Sweden you have to do you have to be approved for IVF because it's publicly funded. And they went through, they got their green light, and now the fiance is going to go through the hormone treatments, and then they'll do the IVF, what is it called? The transfer. There we go. And I was so excited when I heard about them trying for a baby that I wanted to knit them a baby blanket. So the pride theme is a bit on the nose, I realise that, but it has a reason. Because when my friends moved in together, they bought a little plushie and hung it on their mirror in anticipation of starting a family, because they already knew quite early on that they wanted to start a family together and that they would have to do it through IVF. And the rainbow plushie is in these muted colours. I mean, at least in real life, these are quite muted. They might look a bit harsher on the camera, but these colours are going to look great with the plushie. So what I need to do with this is weave in a lot of ends, knit, finish the green. I think I wanted to do another blue, although I don't know that I need to. So this is nearly finished. I wanted to finish the green and then probably do another blue, but I don't know if I need that. I'll look at it after I do another white stripe and see how far that takes me. But the issue that I had was that I ran out of the white. All of these are scraps and I have calculated them to fit the scraps that I have. So the row count and the stitch count is based on how much of the yarn that I actually had. So some of these I have completely run out of yarn with, which was exactly the plan that I had for this. But the white is the border and the between colours. That is something that I bought specifically for this project and I don't have any more of it. It's a drops yarn, however, so it's easy to get another one, and it doesn't need to match perfectly. I will then just finish this border by doing 6 rows of garter stitch, I think, and then I will cast on or pick up stitches all across the edge and knit a thicker border so it lays flat, because right now the white portion is thicker. I think it's 30% thicker than the sock yarns in between. So it needs that border to support the middle. And then it's ready to gift. I wanted to knit something that was fun, easy to memorize. It has this lovely wavy pattern that is created by just yarn overs and knit 2 togethers, and then a garter row between. No, hang on, a stockinette row between, and it gives a lovely effect. And then the white is just a straight border, because nothing in life is straight, really. But I knitted this in a sock yarn because I wanted it to be washable. I do not want to give new parents a chore to wash and baby a baby blanket. They should just be able to chuck it in the wash whenever it gets spit up on it or whenever it falls on the ground. I want them to be able to wash it and not have to deal with blocking. Neither of them are knitters or crocheters or crafty people, so I don't expect them to know how to handle a hand-washed finicky yarn. So this is going to my finish it pile. This is getting heavy. I think it's ready to... Hang on. Where was I? Somewhere important, probably. Oh yeah, this is something that I started in the summer and that has been hanging out in my purse ever since. And it's been unceremoniously dumped into this. Hang on, let me see if I can get it out without... Oh right, and I think I stole one of the needles out of this for another project. Heinous behaviour, absolutely criminal. This is a purse in the making. I'm knitting it on a 2.5mm needle. I am doing the occasional twisted stitch rib that is supposed to be growing up until like the top of the purse, and then I have one of those mouth clasps that I'm going to sew into it. But I'm knitting it on DP ends because I didn't have a cable, an interchangeable needle set in 2.5. I started knitting it on 3mm needles, didn't like the look of that, sized down to 2.5, liked that a lot better, and now I'm struggling to not drop all of these stitches. I have since bought a 2.5 cable needle for another project that I will be showing you in just a few minutes, but as soon as those needles are free, I will be continuing with this. This is knit with a Drops Fiesta and Drops whatever their mohair is. It's quite scratchy. I bought it to make a garment out of it. Didn't like the colour, didn't like the feeling. Thought I'll hold this together with another yellow yarn, and it's going to be a light yellow, the butter yellow of the summer, but I didn't finish it in the summer. So this is going to be finished too. Don't know if I'll use it as a purse or as a makeup bag or as a trinket bag. Might even use it at work for my work necessities like snacks and painkillers. But then I don't want to make a purse just to keep things in it. I want to make it to actually use it. So I'll see if that actually gets used from me or if I'll just give it to someone else that will use it. But that's also getting finished. Next project is something that I probably still really haven't made up my mind about. And it is my failed attempt at knitting Christmas socks. I wanted to knit the Royal Winter's sock by Toby Beck, and I knit a first version on a 2.5mm needle. That was too small. I sized up to 3. That was still too small. I gave up. So I have these two shafts, and I don't have any of the white left because I used all of that for a pair of socks. Oh yeah, so the socks that I actually did make are the ones that I cannibalized the first t-shirt with, and I cannibalized these for the white because it's a snowy forest. And I think what I'll do with these, since they are very similar in size, I don't know if anyone would actually think that they are different sizes. I think I will shorten them down so they are the same length and do just the same ribbed cuff here again, and I will give them to my mother-in-law for her birthday that is coming up, because over the Christmas holidays we were there and she told me about a lovely pair of cuffs that she had made out of Angora or something really soft, and that she had shrunk accidentally years ago and she hadn't bought any new ones. So I thought this could be something that I give to her. It's made out of the Filcolana Aweta. It's a merino and nylon base, so it's not going to shrink in the washing machine. It's also one of the best colour work tensions that I've ever managed, so I'm actually very proud of them, but I don't want them for myself. I don't want to make socks out of them because they won't fit. I don't want to make cuffs out of them or hand warmers. So I think that these will be a gift for her instead. Her birthday is coming up quite soon too, so I might have to get a wiggle on. That is the cutest expression. I've heard it said by so many different people in the last few weeks, both on the telly and on YouTube. Getting a wiggle on. What's that? It's cute. That is what it is. Okay, so another project to be finished. The next two, that was bad mic etiquette, sorry about that. The next two projects are my two works in progress. The first is one that I made a whole epic series about in December, trying to finish the Wanderer pullover for my partner for Christmas, and I failed at that and I reknit it. Hang on, I'll show you both versions. So in a very deluded state of mind, before Christmas, I cast on, oh, here's another whip, great. I cast on the Wanderer pullover. It is a great pattern. It looks like this, except with sleeves and the right size. I knitted them, the different pieces flat, seamed them together, had my partner try it on Christmas, because this is how far I got until Christmas, and it was too small. It was a bit too tight and the seams are just too bulky, and I said, fuck it, I'll reknit it, but I knit it in the round and make proper raglan seams that aren't bulky, because I can't make this look neat. I want this to be an item that he actually wears, and in this state and this size, he wouldn't wear it. I would probably wear it, but I'm going to unravel this for yarn when I need it, which is going to be fairly soon, because I finished the body up until the splitting for sleeves, or joining with the sleeves. I'm knitting it bottom up. Is this another colour change? Does this have a really harsh dye lot change? It's all the same dye lot, but this is second hand sorted yarn that we bought when we were in Sandnes over the summer at the Sandnes Garn outlet. And I know why the yarn was second hand sorted, because the dye lot was quite inconsistent. You'll actually see it, I think, on this side, or is it this side? One of the body pieces has a very stark line. Yeah, it's right here until this point. This is within one ball too, so it just from one stitch to the next changed the colour of the yarn ever so slightly, but enough to be irritating. So I didn't see that problem with the current body, and I then yesterday finished the first sleeve up until the same point. So I am going to place this on a cable and then knit another sleeve, and then I'll have to do some charting for the raglan decreases, because the decreases don't happen the same frequency on the body portion as on the sleeves. So I would like to keep the angle quite similar, but it has to be, I'll have to do some mathing to figure it out. And I'll do that as soon as I feel better physically, because right now there isn't a lot of mental capabilities. I can talk and that is about it. So this is getting finished fairly quickly too. I'm currently working on it. I have this much of the white yarn left and only this much of the red. So I will have to unravel one of the bottom pieces quickly to do the actual cuff for the second sleeve, because I don't think that this is going to be enough. I'm knitting it on 4mm needles. Yeah, 4mm needles for the main portion and 3.5 for the ribbing. Also to finish. And then my last project, hang on, I dropped it. No, my second to last, because I forgot my last. My second to last project are the Juicy Fruit Mittens by Knitting Lotta. This is the second time I'm knitting these. The first time I knit them in a sock yarn with a nylon percentage, and they didn't act the way I wanted them to. This is then knit in 100% wool. It's the Raumafin ull in a yellow and the white to make a really thick and squishy texture, exactly how I wanted them to be from the beginning. These I am going to felt ever so slightly. They are fitting a lot better than the first version did, even though I knit them on the same needle size, and the yarn isn't really a different thickness either. But since this is not superwash, since there's no nylon, it's felting and it's keeping the warmth so much better. So I've been better about not catching my floats too often because I know that they will felt together on the inside. And as soon as I block these and felt them a little bit, I think the stitches are going to even out a bit and they're going to be very wind resistant, which my other juicy fruit mittens are not. They are decorative and for warmer weather, and these are winter appropriate. So this is how far I've come. I'm knitting them on a 2.5mm needle magic loop situation, just to get me to actually give magic loop a try. I bought the needles specifically for this. I'm going to reuse them for the purse, but I don't know if I like magic loop. I don't like magic loop. This loop is a bit tight too. This cord is a bit tight, but I like my DPNs better. So I'm going to do DPNs for the thumb, which is my next point for these. I'm not going to finish the finger portion just yet because the thumb last time took ages to finish too. Like mentally took ages. It's just a 30-row little thumb on 2 needles back and forth. It's easy. It's not a complicated pattern either, so I could probably just read my stitches and follow them without looking at the pattern. But mentally finishing the thumbs took a lot last time, so I don't want to leave myself with that as the last step for this project. So these are getting finished as well. And then I'll have a bit of scrap yarn left. I just bought these 2 balls and they lasted so much longer than I thought they would. And I don't know what to do with the rest of them. I'll do probably something that needs felting. I've been thinking about knitting a pair of slippers, maybe the sailor slippers like everyone else, and incorporating the white and the yellow in them, because it should felt as 100% wool. So that is one option. The last whip that I just found was something that I cast on the way back from visiting my in-laws over Christmas, because I wanted to use my pineapple yarn. So I got the Lang Yarn pineapple fibre yarn over the summer when we were visiting Norway then. So this was probably, I think I bought this in Sweden on the way to Norway, but I wanted to make a t-shirt out of it. I picked out a drops pattern. I started knitting. I realized that I had messed up the chart. I ripped back, knitted again, realized that it was too big, ripped back again, and now I think that I'll choose another drops chart that doesn't have any lace, because this one was supposed to be a lace yoke, and having looked at the yarn in lace formation for the last few iterations of this, I don't think that this quite rustic and little splitty, quite cellulosey yarn looks good with a lace construction. So I think that I'll actually just knit a plain yoke tee with this. I have 4 balls of this, I think, so I can't do anything too big. I didn't want to overbuy, but then again, I think I might have underbought, so I don't know if the 4 balls are actually going to give me what I need, but this yarn is still available, I think. So I could do like a contrasting stripe of white if I get to like the body and run out of yarn, and then I'll do like a thick stripe of white with 1 ball and then go back to the green for the bottom. So that is something that that is like a plan for this. But this is also going to be finished because I want to knit myself a pineapple t-shirt, a green pineapple t-shirt. Grand idea. All right, I forgot this. This is just a sleeve. This is a cuff for asleep, because I have a very loud yellow coat that was a secondhand find back in the days where secondhand was still good. And the only problem that I have with it is that the sleeves are too big, so the wind just goes through them. And I've been thinking about like just adding a cuff inside to stop the wind. And then when I over the summer bought this yarn, I looked at it next to my coat and I saw that this would be a good cuff colour. So I knitted the first cuff. Didn't write any of it down. I don't know what size of needles I used. I don't know how many stitches. I don't know how much I increased. So I'll have to figure it out. I should have written it down, but I didn't. And then I'll sew this into the coat. So that is, as far as I know, my last work in progress. I have one that I'm going to unravel. I have one that I'm going to repurpose directly into the second version of a sweater. So the Wanderer pullover, that is getting unraveled too, all of it, but I'm repurposing the yarn. And I have, do I want to count these? I should. 1, back to the sofa you go. 2, back to the sofa you go too. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 whips to knit. So that is my January starting point. I'm now going to do some of that unraveling and knitting, and I will see you in a little bit. Okay, the hair still hasn't dried properly, but I was quicker than I expected. I have unraveled my scrap t-shirt, I have started unpicking the seams for my Wanderer pullover, and I have placed my mittens, no, not my mittens are staying in the sofa because I need to look at the pattern. I placed the socks and the cuffs in my work bag to take on my commute tomorrow, so I can finish the rib for the cuffs and knit on the socks. Once I have finished the Wanderer pullover, that is going to be the next few steps are going to be very commuter compatible, because I just need to knit the cuff and then some sleeve increases and then sleeve for a tall person. But then the actual raglan shaping, I will have to do some mathing to figure out. That's not going to be a commute project, I think. Unless I feel very clever about it, I might do that. But after the Wanderer pullover, I'm going back to my sweatpants. I'm then going to wait for the yarn to come in for my baby blanket, and the t-shirt and the purse and the cuff for my jacket, they are second priorities. They can come in whichever order I feel like doing them. So that is what's going to happen. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please click the subscribe button and the like button. I am really excited to be back, and I hope you had a great new year and that you had a satisfying January refresh too. It's a good feeling to know where I stand going into the new year. Take care of yourself. Bye.